Welcome, 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 my fabulous, fabulous on fire ladies. This is your welcome video, podcast, YouTube, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to have a brief insight into what we're going to cover over the next 6 weeks. So you have finally taken a massive step forwards towards ditching the endless diet start Monday cycle. We're going to say goodbye to food guilt. We're going to put you back at the top of your own priority list, because I want you to get used to the fact to putting yourself first with every single decision that you make in your life, and realise that it's not selfish, because when you put yourself first and look after yourself, it's not to the detriment of everybody else. It purely allows you to continue to give to other people, knowing that you've got your own time, all right? Over the next 6 weeks, we're going to talk about portion sizes, daily steps, healthy food swaps, but we're going to go a little bit deeper as well. We're going to try and uncover why you've been stuck in over restriction, maybe overwhelm, and most importantly, because this is what On Fire is all about, is confidence and self-belief. I want you to get away from the feelings of failure that you've been having with your food, with your fitness, with your health. So we're going to replace all of that. We're going to replace it with confidence, clarity, and a fire, an absolute fire. See what I did there? Fire in your belly that is going to actually make you unstoppable. This is what we want to do. This is actually life-changing shit. 100%, all right? It's about building habits that fit into your real life. I'm absolutely not going to expect you to reinvent your whole life within the next 6 weeks, but it's about giving you little tools that are going to help step by step, introducing little ones at a time. We're going to learn how to deal with nights out, socialising, holidays, hormones, everything that comes with midlife, all the mental symptoms, the physical symptoms as well. And you're going to learn how to feel good in your skin. Actually believe that you can do this. We're going to cut your stress, cut your guilt. We're going to stop you self-sabotaging, because you signed up for On Fire, and I know that you're ready. It's amazing, eh? You lit the match. We're doing this, ladies. We're absolutely doing this. So for my ladies in On Fire, I have asked them to answer some questions in a poll for me. I'm just going to go through the topics, see if I can give you a quick tip how to fix them. And then over the next 6 weeks, we're going to go a little bit deeper. Just some things for you to think about at the moment. So, all right, top of the list. Making healthy food choices. This is usually to do with patience, and it's usually to do with portion control, and it's usually to do with over restriction. So if we're faced with a menu, I also used to do this myself, I would pick the most calorific, biggest plate of food that I could find. It would never cross my mind to order a chicken breast and boiled potatoes and veg, or steak and veg, or a salad, even a Caesar salad. It would never cross my mind to order something like that. I would order a pizza or a full fat lasagna with a side of chips, or some creamy, carby plate of food. Probably never a burger, actually, and I like a burger now for some reason. I don't know why, but the reason that we do this is because we've told ourselves and we believe that this is the only opportunity we're going to get to eat this kind of food, because obviously come Monday we're going to start all over again on our 800 calorie diet. So we take the opportunity to eat as much as we can of high calorific, tasty food, because we've told ourselves that we're not going to get it again for a long time. Whereas in fact, what we're going to do in this group is, I'm not going to ask you to change the way you eat. I'm not going to ask you to change anything to start with. I'm purely going to ask you to track your food on MyFitnessPal, step on the scales every day, and at the end of the week you will have a benchmark. So we will have an average scale weight for the week, and you will have the average calories that you're eating every day, and then we can discuss whether we just need to cut back the portion sizes as opposed to cutting food out completely. That is not what we want to do. So that is one of the things that we're going to work on, because we're also going to work on all the stuff that comes with food guilt. So cutting stuff out, like I said, going out on a Friday or a Saturday night or a Sunday and picking the most calorific, high fat, biggest plate of food you can find is because you're telling yourself that you're not allowed it again, whereas we're actually going to just eat the same food but practice portion control. Yeah. Portion sizes are the same. It kind of comes down to that as well. I'm going to ask you to see what you can add onto your plate. Now, you might think that that's going to increase your portion size, but eventually we'll get you to the stage that, like, just say, for example, I had a conversation with a client the other day that when it comes to lunchtime, she just shoves a ready meal in the fridge. But the ready meal that she would pick would be macaroni cheese. I love macaroni cheese, by the way. It would be macaroni cheese. So what I've asked her to do is to continue eating that portion of macaroni cheese because that's what she loves. But could she put half a plate of veg on the side with it? And then that's you thinking about what you can add onto your plate. Very rarely do we need to take stuff off our plate, ladies. If we are taking stuff off our plate, we're generally just cutting the portion as to removing whole food groups or whole accompaniments type thing. So we want to think about what we can add onto the plate. So veg would be a good idea. Protein would be ideal, especially like there's not a lot of protein in macaroni cheese. But again, you could have your macaroni, your half a plate of veg, and then you could maybe have a protein yogurt for pudding for a bit of sweetness. So again, it's about thinking about what you can add on, and that's what we're working on. Daily steps is another one. A lot of us seem to think that we can just go to the gym for an hour. Excuse me while I get a drink of water. A lot of us think we can just go to the gym for an hour, dick about on the machines, not put in 100% effort, and then that's us done our exercise for the day, whereas we actually need exercise and activity. So if I can get you thinking about exercise as for your heart and your bones and your joints and your muscles, and your daily steps, your activity, so the stuff that you do that's not in the gym, like getting off the sofa, running up and down the stairs to go to the toilet, going for your daily walk, that's the stuff that will help you with fat loss, and that's the stuff that will help you with your mental health, like getting outside in the fresh air. So a quick tip for daily steps is I would set an alarm. So find a time that suits you to go for a walk. It could be in the morning before you sit down at your desk. It could be something as simple as getting off the bus or the train a couple of stops early or a stop early and walking into the office. Maybe lunchtime suits you if you get an hour for your lunch, 20 minutes for something to eat and then a wee walk outside. Or it could be when you come home from work, or it could be 10 minutes each time. So 10 minutes in the morning before you sit at your desk, 10 minutes at lunchtime, and then 10, 15, 20 minutes either before your dinner or after your dinner. But I would set your alarm, put it in your diary as you would with a work appointment, and go and do it. It's very, if you've never done it before and you don't see the benefits, it's very difficult, but it's like any new habit. It takes a good 2 to 3 weeks. So if you can just set your alarm for 2 to 3 weeks or 4 weeks for the times that suit you, then it will become a massive benefit. It is so good to get out in the fresh air for your mental health, but it's also, walking is one of the best things you can do for fat loss. Yeah, true story. We're also going to work on over-restriction, and that goes back to the making healthy choices and the portion sizes. They realise the reason that we over-restrict is usually because we want to punish ourselves for something that we've eaten or drunk or had a party or a social event at the weekend. So what we tend to do is cut something out during the week. All this does is confirm the fact that you have told yourself that you can't have that. Spoke about it on my podcast yesterday. It's like when you say to a child, don't touch the fire or don't touch the cooker because it's hot. What is that child going to do? They're going to touch the fire or they're going to touch the cooker. They're probably never going to do it again, which is obviously amazing. But over-restriction leads to binging. Absolutely 100%. Scientifically proven. And I've been there, ladies. I've absolutely been there. I've been there with crisps, I've been there with cheese, I've been there with bread, I've been there with pasta, I've been there with chocolate, with sweeties, with ice cream, with cake, everything. The minute you tell yourself you can't have something is the minute that you're going to binge on it. So we are going to work on your favourite thing and having a little bit every day. And it comes down to portion control. So if you want a bit of chocolate, have a bit of chocolate. You can't have a bucket full of chocolate every day, but you can absolutely have a strip of dairy milk or a twirl, or I've got one client that likes double deckers, or a double decker. I have one or two Freddos a day. It's about finding your thing and having that. It's not about you doing exactly as I say and you doing what works for me, because what works for me doesn't automatically work for you. This is about 6 weeks of building your confidence and experimenting and finding out what is actually going to work for you, because you're an individual. I don't want you to change. Absolutely not. I don't want you to cut stuff out. I don't want you to be gagging when you're trying to eat something because I eat it if you can't stand it. This is about you finding out what is going to work for you and building your confidence. We've got food guilt going on. Again, this comes back to usually over restriction, usually binging. We feel guilty. We have been told for so long that you have to eat like a bird as a woman. Do you know, you should be a certain shape, you should be a certain size. That, to be fair, that is starting to get ripped up now. There's a lot of understanding, a lot of scientific evidence going on that it's better to be stronger than it is to be skinny. So the guilt that you have about eating that high calorific food or the tasty food that's filled with sugar, the awesome stuff that we've been speaking about, like the takeaways, the chocolate, the ice cream, the cake, the crisps, the sweeties, whatever your thing is, the guilt that you have about eating that will do you way more damage than the couple of extra pounds that you're carrying in body fat. That is very true. That is absolutely true. And again, there's been a lot of studies on it. So the food guilt, we need to ditch the food guilt, and that will come with portion control. Absolutely 100%. And portion control comes with practice and patience. So again, we've got 6 weeks. We're going to practice and we're going to have patience. We're going to practice patience and we're going to practice and we're going to try and have patience. All of this will cut things out like food guilt. Socialising. Yes, I fully expect you to socialise. I have been on podcasts before and I literally say to everybody, say yes to every single social event, providing you want to. Do you know, you're entitled to hibernate every now and again, but what I don't want you doing is I don't want you saying no to a social event because you're on a diet. I don't want you saying no to a wine on a Friday night if that's your thing because you're on a diet. It's down to portion control. I know I'm totally repeating myself here, but I don't think I can get across enough how portion control will actually change your life. And yes, you might fuck it up a couple of times. We could be doing this. We're doing this for 6 weeks. You could fuck this up for 4 weeks. You could sit down on a Friday night with every intention of having a glass of wine on a Friday night, the second glass of wine on a Saturday night, and the third glass of wine on the Sunday night. And for 4 weeks in a row, you could totally fuck that up and hit a bottle every night or 2 bottles between the night, right? But at one point, it will click. You will get your confidence because you will realise that the more you cut back on stuff like this and the more you practice your portion, just so you can have enough to keep you satisfied, you wake up the next morning feeling awesome. That's your confidence levels already up here, and that follows on through the course of the week about how you're going to manage your week. Remember, every morning when you wake up, you get to decide how awesome you're going to be that day. Only you. You get to decide. You can literally be anything that you want. Anxiety and overwhelm, this is more difficult, and this is a very common perimenopause symptom, a very common midlife symptom. And again, it's also tied in greatly with lack of confidence and loss of self-belief. So we're going to dig a wee bit deeper into that. We're going to get you journaling. We're going to get you writing stuff down. I've got questions for you that I want you to answer, that I want you to think about. And also remember, ladies, that in this group, everybody, you're not a weirdo. We've all got the same struggles. We sometimes just voice them differently or deal with them differently. But if whatever you're going through at the moment, myself or one of the other ladies, I guarantee it, will have been through it or are going through it as well. So we are here to support each other. It is a closed group. There'll be no sharing of anything personal. It's only between us lot. So anxiety and overwhelm, again, my next topic is lack of confidence and self-belief. They all come together. They all work hand in hand. And the anxiety and the overwhelm, you can cut it back when we start to believe that we can actually do anything that we want to do. And again, that's what we're going to work on over the next 6 weeks. We're going to go deep, ladies. Honestly, you're going to be thinking about why you believe the stuff that you believe, why you follow people on Instagram, and when they post that 2-second perfect moment of their life, why you're trying to replicate that 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, because that's never going to happen. You're never going to manage that. You are literally taking 2 seconds of somebody's life, which probably took them about 3 hours to film, and you're just trying to replicate that for 24 hours a day. None of us are perfect. None of us have our ducks lined up in a row all the time. Absolutely not. All of us are chaos at one point. We're absolute riots at another point as well. And it's about learning when you're going to be chaotic, when you're going to be riotous, letting the guilt go about that, and just putting things in place to make your chaotic and riotous times and situations less and less. Hi, Jasper. Jasper's here, everybody. So, 6 weeks of On Fire, that is pretty much what we're going to work on. We're going to look at the surface stuff, and we're going to go a bit deeper. Funnily enough, ladies, in this poll, I also put exercise, cardio and weights, right? And none of the ladies have hit that that's a problem. Do you know why? Because turning up for the gym for 1 hour out of 24 hours is the easy part. Controlling what goes in your mouth and how you're feeling the other 23 hours, that's the hard part. All right, my lovelies. You are officially part of the On Fire crew now. You have me for life. Lucky you. You belong to me. I'm only kidding. This is for women. All right, ladies, you have decided that enough is enough and you're ready to take back control, because control and accountability makes us less chaotic, builds our confidence, and that is what we're always about. But I want you to remember, this is not about being perfect. This is about confidence. It's about consistency. It's about being honest with me, with yourself, with your fellow group members. There is no judgment whatsoever. This is your 6 weeks to practice, to fuck it up, to practice again, to fuck it up again, to practice again, to ask as many questions as you want. I will literally answer every single thing that you ask. No subject is off the table. All subjects are on the table. So over the next 6 weeks, I want you to lean in. I want you to come in close. I want you to trust the process. And I want you to give yourself permission to practice patience, to have self-belief, to believe that you can actually do this. Because by the end of the 6 weeks, you'll be shining brighter than you ever have. Speak to you all soon, lovelies.